Thank you, Marshall. Now to that team coverage of that deadly warehouse shooting in New Albany.
The suspect accused of shooting 6 people at work is now in the Franklin County Jail, booked just over 2 hours ago. Our team is looking into every angle of this very active investigation. Lisa Rontala digging into the background of the company where this happened. Jeremiah Wilcox has new information on the victims.
Steve Levine shows us the moment the suspect was arrested. But first tonight, let's get to Kate Seifert. And Kate, what have you learned about this investigation just in the last few hours?
Well, Ronnie, Jessica, leaders from here in New Albany, as well as their police chief, holding a news conference here at their village hall, working us through some of the updates that they have for us. But still, there is no clear motive as to why the shooting happened. We do know that the 28-year-old suspect, Bruce Foster, was an employee of this facility and was working there in the hours leading up to opening fire inside that manufacturing site. We want to take you back to some video from when our crews arrived on the scene on Tuesday evening. Law enforcement officials now revealing to us that the suspect ended up leaving in what they say was a rideshare vehicle from that warehouse last night after opening fire. New Albany Police Chief Greg Jones says about 100 first responders from the city, county, state, and federal agencies all played a part in this response overnight and into Wednesday morning, leading up to the arrest of Foster. Chief walked us through their response in clearing the building overnight.
We were quickly able to switch from a single officer response to putting in teams. And if I recall, I believe there was 3 teams that we sent in to clear the building. We also used a drone and canines. So the building is manufacturing, so it's not a bunch of offices that are pretty easy to. It's a lot of machinery. It's very loud, and there's a lot of nooks and crannies. So it took us hours to clear the building, the perimeter, and do that secondary check.
An ATF special agent was here during that news conference as well. We learned more about the weapon that Foster allegedly used. We know that he bought the gun back in September. They say he lawfully purchased that firearm. As you can imagine, this type of incident really shakes up a city. New Albany Mayor Sloan Spalding says that this community is heartbroken, but the leaders here are going to do everything they can, they say, to support those victims and hold that suspect accountable. Speaking of that, we do expect that suspect to appear in a Licking County courtroom tomorrow. We want to check in with Steve Levine now with more on that suspect tonight. Hi, Steve.
Good evening, Kate. That arrest happened here at this University District apartment around 10 o'clock this morning. Police say when they tried to enter an apartment, they deployed a taser when the suspect refused commands to come out. And tonight I am talking with a neighbor who tells us he watched the entire arrest unfold. A resident who lives in the University District apartment complex where Bruce Foster III was taken into custody, sending us this photo of the U.S. Marshal Service just minutes before the murder suspect, charged in Tuesday's deadly warehouse shooting, was arrested.
I heard the shouting from the police.
Ohio State student Luke tells us he was studying in his second-floor apartment Wednesday morning when he heard yelling in the hallway.
The police just shouted, raise your hand, and they just handcuffed them. And police just took the suspect away.
He surrendered quietly?
Yes.
Luke telling us Foster had been living in a one-bedroom apartment next to him for several months. You had any previous conversations with him? What was he like while he was living next door?
No, but one of my friends have seen the suspect before when studying in a study room. But we did not have conversation to him.
Our cameras were in North Columbus early Wednesday morning when police searched an apartment complex for Foster, but unable to find him. Just hours later, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation and New Albany Police removing evidence bags from the suspect's apartment. A chaotic scene this Ohio State student says will stay with him for a long time.
It's kind of crazy to us because, a suspect, a very dangerous suspect, just live next to your door. That's terrible.
I did some digging into Foster's background. He graduated from Brookhaven High School in 2014. He transferred from the University of Akron to Columbus State Community College and graduated there in 2019. Now, our crews have been scattered across New Albany all day. Jeremiah Wilcox has been talking with family and friends of the victim. And obviously tonight, Jeremiah, they are rattled after what happened last night.
Yeah, Steve, you're definitely right. It's been a pretty emotional day here at Mount Carmel East Hospital. I spoke to a family who rushed here to the scene, and as they were walking into the hospital room right behind me, they say that they're hoping that their nephew, who they say is in critical condition, is going to make it. But we did obtain new 911 calls from that incident, and we do want to warn you, it is hard to hear.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
We've been shot at KDC Albany 1.
Heart-pounding moments as workers at beauty product company KDC1 call 911.
You haven't seen anybody run out of the building with a gun at all?
Not really. I'm just trying to get away from the place.
4 out of 5 victims were taken here to Mount Carmel East Hospital. I spoke to some family members of the victims who say majority of the people shot were from Nepal. Family tell me 3 victims are injured but expected to survive. And they also tell me 1 person is in critical condition. We caught up with people in the area wrapping their head around this tragedy.
Like literally 1 minute. You can see it? Yeah, you can see it. You can see their building. And there's nobody really working in our surrounding area.
Now the families are still trying to work through this difficult time here at the hospital. We'll definitely stay on top of the conditions of those victims and bring you the latest on air and online. Live on your side, I'm Jeremiah Wilcox.
All right, thank you, Jeremiah. KDC1 is an international company that develops, creates, and packages beauty, home, and personal care products.
Tonight, investigator Lisa Rontal is digging deeper. And Lisa, the company's New Albany location does have a history of serious safety violations.
Jessica, Rodney, the company called KDC TriTech Laboratories at the time faced 9 different violations from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. 6 of those violations were considered serious. OSHA issued a $40,000 fine. According to the Licking County auditor, TriTech Laboratories purchased the land in New Albany in 2010. The warehouse was built in 2011. The land transferred to KDC US Holdings, Inc. in 2019 for $0. It was a name transfer. According to OSHA, they received a safety complaint at that location in 2015. A year later, they issued a series of violations to KDC TriTech Laboratories regarding employees exposed to hazardous situations that could lead to serious injuries like amputations and electrical shock. Other violations included the lack of safety inspections and not reporting a workplace injury of a hospitalized and burned employee within 24 hours to OSHA. In a statement released by KDC1 this afternoon, the company's CEO said they are shocked and saddened by this tragic shooting. Their thoughts and prayers are with the impacted and their families. The safety and well-being of their employees is their top priority. The company says it is working with the New Albany Police Department in this investigation. On your side, I'm investigator Lisa Rontal.
We will update this story around the clock on the ABC6 app. Get push alerts as new information comes in, or we're streaming live. Just scan that QR code on your screen and find it in your app store.